G'day ladies and gentlemen, Duckville here. Welcome to a StarCraft 2 Heart of the Swarm game that I have got. It is a Zerg versus Protoss here. It is gonna be... Sorry, I was just looking at it, I was just like, is this actually... Did I click on the right game? I think I did. Alright, cool, we're all good to go. But down at the bottom left hand side here is our red Protoss player from Team Root Gaming. It is Sage, who is of course, a Korean player. Did really well over at NS Hostio, I thought. I started watching him quite a lot, and he's a really funny and a really cool guy. Of course, a very good Protoss player. Like, that's not to be neglected. The one reason I really liked watching Sage play was that he used DTs and slightly wacky builds a lot. During times when he was streaming. Obviously, when he played properly, he wasn't as risky. But I mean, as someone like myself who likes to use different builds and just play around and try fun things, and especially revolving around DTs, I really liked watching Sage stream. So I haven't watched him stream for a little while, probably about a month or two, just because I haven't actually caught it or been, you know, watching someone else or casting or something like that. I'm not sure, but anyway, we'll have a look at his opponent up to the top right hand side. There is a little bit of barcode going on, but I do happen to know who this is. From Team Seraphic Nexus, it is Wally, and he's going to be our blue Zerg up here in Yonsu. A map that, of course, is a two-player map, so Sage is going to head out here after a gateway expand and is going to be checking out what is going on over here on his opponent's side of the map. So just while we're waiting for the game to actually fully heat up, as Sage gives a little bit of a go see. Of course, I am still back online with streaming and that kind of stuff. I've actually I got a little bit of a schedule going on Google. You can go and check it out. It's on my little Google calendar. But generally Mondays and Fridays will be free day, what I've called free day, which could be any sort of game, including particularly, I'm going to be trying out some indie games and all sorts of stuff like that. And Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday will be either Dota 2, NS2, Natural Selection 2, if you're not sure what that is, or StarCraft 2. So, providing Twitch is okay. Lately, Twitch has been really frustrating to work with. I'm not sure what's going on, but either way, you can catch my stream over there at twitch.tv/DuckvilleLol. You can also see when I'm going live by tweets on Twitter at DuckvilleLol, or particularly one which I really love to see some of you guys jumping onto Facebook, facebook.com/duckville.casting. If you need to find a link, just click on the YouTube channel here, and there's a link on my cover profile picture thingy, whatever it is. I don't know. Either way, I'm sure you guys are all pretty cool. You'll know how to find that kind of stuff. Anyway, let's talk about our game as I get this eyelash out of my eye because I'm dying right now. We can see that Wally is just getting all the normal sort of stuff out. We've got gas, a queen is just popping out here, one at the natural as well, and we've got another one just going to be coming out here at the natural. Meanwhile, a couple of links have somehow made it inside the main base of Sage. They are going to be having a quick poke around to see what's going on, looking for some tech, looking to see how much gas has been extracted by Sage, but also, of course, you know, they did get to identify that the front door had no real wall off straight away. These gates came up a little bit later than normal, so he'll have to judge what's going on here. Now, as I said, it is a little bit later from Sage. I think he might be, I don't know, normally those gates have, they've started up a little bit quicker than what they did, I believe. But anyway, it looks as if he might be going for a push at some time. This particular pylon can either signify two things. This can be a pylon that's used as part of a warp gate attack on the Zerg's third base, which is up here. The reason why we use this one is that it's just a very protected position, allows you to get up to the Zelnaga Watchtower very quickly, and then of course you can relocate your next pylon across at this sort of position to then attack into the third. So this will either signify that we are going to get a big push coming out of Sage, but the fact that he has a Stargate on the way back in the main base does signify that it might be something a a little bit more standard, as he is going to be rallying up some the first unit that comes out. So I'm assuming this is going to be a Phoenix popping out from Sage shortly. There it is. And as the warp gates will flower open here, as we can see, Sage is just going to be looking to expand, I think. I mean, he hasn't really shown any massive aggressive signs. It looks as if he is going to be doing a build that we do get to see some of the high-level Protoss players in Korea do, which is just along the lines of Zealots and Phoenix coming across the map, being very aggressive on the third base of the Zerg. Luckily for Wally, he does have a few lings out, has taken out one of the Zealots. I'm not sure if that was completely worth it, but he did get there and get all of that attack slowed down a little bit. Melee attacks and Carapace are also on the way, so these lings are certainly going to have a lot of firepower behind them once they get those upgrades done, but those are still a little while away, so things are still waiting to pick up the next game here. Wally just having a quick check of what's going on at the third base. As we can see, he scouts out a pylon, and I think is Wally going to commit to this. It looks like he is going to try and get inside here. These Zealots want to try and protect this pylon, but also they want to try and limit the surface area that there is to attack onto them. So you can see they will just sort of sit here and cover this position. But Wally is aware that there is that pylon, but he will also be aware that he's going to have to be very careful with his overlords, as there are now 3 Phoenix out on the map. Not necessarily a massive killing force, but they could get a little bit of work done. Sage, actually, speaking of which, finds one of the queens, is going to pick her up and get a little bit of damage done. Wally's still a little bit undecided what he's going to do with all these lings. There are so many of them. He's now going to push in, try and get some damage done, but the wall is blocked off by a Zealot and a Sentry. And now we can see his lings are going to head back across and cancel this third base. Sage, beautiful pylon there just to block off the lings from getting the probe. That was really, really cool. I like that. That was actually very unexpected as well, but Sage has been getting some more damage done while he's been across the map. Of course, that queen did get picked off. You know, a little bit of a compensation for losing the time lost, not to mention the little bit of minerals that was lost on cancelling this third nexus. But Sage is going to be pushing into a much more normalized style now, as his third base is on the way. A little bit more delayed compared to normally where you would want it to be, but Wally still continuing to push out, looking to get some damage done. Finds a Sentry. The Zealot has moved out of position, kills the Zealot. Now he's going for the Sentry, but Sage gets the force field up just in time. Now we can see that Wally is forced to back out of there for now. A little bit too much for him to deal with, just with these couple of lings that he has out on the map already. And I mean, Sage is keeping in check everything that is going on. He's got his worker count up at 55. He's trying to take down a queen over here, and that's if he gets that one, that's queen number 2. Down she goes. And all in all, he's doing quite well. I mean, for the Protoss player, if you can set this third base up nice and comfortably, get a couple of cannons down, a couple of extra gates to help you wall off, and then look at pushing out and attacking the third Zerg, the Zerg's third base, you can really put yourself in a great spot. And I mean, now, as we can see, Sage is going to add in his Robo Bay so that he can prepare the Colossus tech. +1 to weapons is also being researched right now. Just going to chrono boost that out as soon as possible and get an observer on the field to keep an eye on things. So Wally's going to have to look at, we'll have a look at what he is up to right now. We've got the Infestation Pit on the way. 2-2 on those melee and carapace upgrades are just being picked up right now. 5 and 6 on the gas count is going to be done here for Wally, so he is going to have a nice amount of income there. But now Sage looking like he might get caught out here, but the Ling's actually getting trapped inside. Will they be able to get inside the main base or the natural? No, they're not. They actually are looking to try and find a way out by knocking down this pylon. Some beautiful force fields there from Sage to try and just keep all of those links segmented. Wally just scrambling to try and get out of there, but it's just not happening. Too many sentries, too many zealots, and in fact, wow, some of them do escape. They're like rabbits running away from a predator right there, because they were getting out of there as quickly as they could. But these Phoenix are still doing work around the map here for Sage. So losing a few lings, losing a couple of overlords here and there, Sage is still trying to keep control of this game as best as he can. But now, as we can see, we've got Pathogen Glads on the way for Wally. He's going to go into what looks to be the Ling and Infesta kind of mid-game here, which can be quite a strong composition for a Zerg player. I mean, especially if you can get a lot of creep spread going out, and Wally is starting to push this out to the middle of the map. If you can get that creep spread up at a nice position, it gives you a lot of mobility with those Infestas. They can run around and try and lock down some of these units, and then you can just use the sentries, the Lings, to smash down the rest of the units. So Sage is going to have to be very careful, particularly with the clumping of his units. He's going to have to be very careful about where he goes where, you know, tactically speaking, of course, you got to be very careful about engaging onto the creep. But now he's starting to pick up the higher parts of his tech, getting the Colossi, getting extended to a lance across to the side here. Void Ray starting to pop out, along with a second Robo that is producing an Immortal as well. So he's really looking to just beef up this army, keep it at a very low tech kind of count for the first part of the game, but then switch in really hard into Void Rays, the Colossus, and of course the Immortals as well. So Sage is looking to go in towards the mid game there. It looks as if we had a fungal that got split up and then, or got shot out and then might have missed. I think those Phoenix were split up there, so that, sorry about that one. But as we can see, we've got the Ultralisk Cavern now on the way from Wally. He's going to pick that up. He's going straight into that high tech there so that he can get enough defense out or enough offense to try and crush his opponent. I think it's going to be a tough ask. I mean, Sage is going to have, he's going to have a lot of defense out. We've got walls everywhere prepared here for Sage. He's even adding in a wall just across to this side here. I really like this. Just going to segment this area so that Wally cannot just charge through. And the Colossus, and along with those Immortals, are really going to keep some of the higher powered units behind. But Wally's going to have a quick look out on the map, wants to see what he can find. Going to drone up a little bit. 13 more drones are on the way. They are going to take him to a total of 81 as he looks to pick up this fourth base and saturate that properly. But this is going to start to really become a problem because Sage is now going to be sitting on Void Rays. He's got the Immortals, and then of course the Zealots and the Colossi to deal with everything on the ground. I mean, it's going to be really hard to deal with his army. We're going to have to rely on some really good fungals, but then you've got the issue to deal with of these Templar that can feed back the Infestors, and it could get quite dicey as Wally looks to push across the map here. But I mean, I really like Sage's position here, just walling everything off, just trying to make sure that his opponent cannot easily charge through these choke points here. Even walling off this this lower portion as well. Like, this is really cool just to add this in and really protect himself. He's really turtled up and said, "This is my area. You're not coming into it at all." And I think that's a really good decision here. I mean, especially when your opponent has gone for some really quick upgrades. We've got chitinous plating, 3-3, and the adrenal glands all about to complete here for Wally. And the Lings find a way inside. However, they are going to get roasted up by the Storm. We've got to bring an umbrella for that one, I tell you what. But Sage is still continuing to get some good vision of what is going on. They're using some of those hallucinated sentries, but he's maybe moving into a little bit of an odd spot here. This is going to be really interesting because if Sage moves down the ramp just into this position, he could get just sort of attacked from all sides. There could be a lot of flanking going on. But speaking of flanking, Sage is now dropping in some Zealots inside the main base. Wally is going to be forced to bring back a lot of those, a lot of the Lings in particular, try and help out at that base. But now Sage has got a little bit of trouble himself. Well, I don't know what those pros are doing. They were just sort of wandering about, I think, trying to get out of the way of these cannons that were being built. But while he gets inside, he's going to kill off a couple of the workers, gets rid of a cannon that was there as well. But the Photon Overcharge will come along and eventually save the day. But Wally, I mean, he's got a nice economy, he's got good tech, he's got 3-3 chitinous plating, and of course the adrenal glands for these Lings, and even a lot of these Infestors out. I would like to see a little bit of just a sort of preparation tech, like we are getting +1 on the air attacks prepared. Maybe just getting prepared for a possible switch over into a little bit more of an air-based composition would be good here. But as you can see, Storms all around, Lings getting around the back as well, Fungal Growth locking down a lot of the Protoss army, and Sage is going to lose a lot of his big heavy units at the front there, and the Infestors have certainly done a lot of work. Is it enough? The Colossi are now in trouble. Will they escape? They're trying to wander away on their little tippy toes, but they will not get too far. Lings and Ultras locking them down, chasing after them, and now Wally is sitting in an army supply lead of 82 to 38. Along with his main supply sitting at 160 to his opponent's 106, and things are looking a little bit worrisome for Sage right now. Just as I said, that engagement was a little bit of a precarious place to go into. There are so many angles that your opponent can come from there, and we saw exactly what can happen if a couple of good fungals go off. And I mean, Sage is now, he's got to rebuild his army. He needs to get the big heavy units out. We need to get Immortals, some Colossi perhaps, maybe just 1 or 2 Colossi, but I mean, now his opponent is switching into Mutas, and things are going to get even worse here for Sage because this Muta count is going to continue to grow. We've already got it up at 23 at the moment. They've got +2 on their weapons on the way. Sage going to get the Annie and Pulse Crystals out if he can get another Stargate up and running. There's another one. Do we have a third one? No, we don't. See, the thing is with Phoenix, it actually gets really hard to try and counter. Oh, Sage, Wally just attacking his own Spore there. It was a little bit odd to see that. But, we can, it can be a little bit difficult to try and get after a Mutalisk count when you're far behind and you don't have enough Stargates. But now, as we can see, Sage with a DT inside the main base, killing off a lot of the workers. These Mutas are now looking to get some more damage done down here at the third base of, or the fourth base of Sage as well. And now you can see they're chasing after those Phoenix. Not the best of ideas, especially when the Annie and Pulse Crystals are active. But more units are now sweeping in on the third base of Sage. If he can take out a lot of the workers here, that would be quite good for Wally, given the fact that he has lost a lot of his own workers back at home. As we can see, these DTs have finally been cleared out, but Wally, with Lings all over the place, may be able to try and finally capitalize on the movement of his opponent, maybe even taking advantage of the fact that the wall was never reset here for Sage, so he's going to lose quite a lot of his forces. And now the Muta's slowly starting to dwindle down because the Phoenix count has gotten up a little bit higher. There's now 7 of those Phoenix out, 8 in fact. And they are going to be doing a lot of damage with those Annie and Pulse Crystals, but has enough been done by Wally to be able to win this game here? I mean, he's going to be switching way back into the Ultralisk tech. The +2 on the weapons is finished up, but I mean, that's not going to be anything too useful for him because now he has lost all of his Mutas. But the third base has been killed, the fourth was crippled as well, and even some of the production for Sage has been killed off with the of course, with those gateways being taken out, and that means that he's going to have a little bit of a tough time trying to resupply some of his forces. Both players sitting at a very odd sort of position right now. 120 supply, but both of them at 60-something workers. And if Wally can just piece together a really nice ground army, I think he's in a beautiful position right now. Because, you know, when it comes down to it, Sage has got all of these Phoenix, but you can't lift Ultras. They cannot lift Rogue, if I have to use that meme for once. But as you can see, Wally now pushing forwards. I don't know what those Ultras were doing, but they're off to the side, and now these Lings are going to finally finish off the Stalkers and the Immortal that were left here at the Xel'Naga Watchtower. Wally did pick up, Sage did pick up 2 of his Archons here. He's going to bring them in and try and do some damage at this third base. He may be able to really do a lot of damage here. The Archons popping out. They do have +3 on their weapons, so they do a massive 47 damage to biological units. And Sage is just going to head back to the side, just wait off here with his Warp Prism. But the big news is happening down here. The natural base of Sage is now under siege. He's got Lings and Ultras inside, hacking down those buildings as quickly as they can. The Phoenix from Sage are still wandering about, trying to find something to do. And I mean, the only real salvation that Sage has here are these DTs. They're going to hold back the the Zerg army for quite a while, because, of course, the issue is that Wally cannot get these Overseers out of the map because there are so many Phoenix out, and Wally has no anti-air, he has no Hydras, he has no Corruptors or anything like that, so he's going to have a really hard time detecting things. This is going to turn into a really weird situation here, very similar, if anyone remembers, the build that Noni was doing, which was Phoenix DT and Observer against, that was in PvP though, so I suppose it's not as relevant, but still, the DT's now coming along. They're going to try and take apart the Spore Crawlers here. They will get one. Will they get the second? Nice transfusers from Wally to keep this one alive. And that Ultra, are you serious? That Ultra cleaned up the last few DTs that were there, and Sage is forced to tap out. His base is just impossible to keep them alive with so many Lings out on the map, despite the work that the DTs were doing. Really nicely done by Wally there. Go and check out his stream. It's over on Twitch. I did link it there before. You can say hello to Sage on his stream as well. And I will see you all next time. Here. As you can see, 47 damage to bio units and then the 34 damage against other standard targets. His storms have also been wonderful, just spreading them out across the battlefield, doing really, really nicely there. And for Minigun, he's been sticking with a much more